Hi, my name's Steve Earhart. Welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to be making this little pen sleeve out of leather. So one of the things that I've been focusing on is trying to improve my hand stitching, and I caught a really great tip this week, and I hope I can share that with you. Hope that you can see that this is, how focused that is, but I'm much happier with my hand stitching leather at the moment. So please watch and let me know what you think, good or bad. That'd be fantastic.
Let's get started. So the first task is really just to draw out the basic outline of what you want your pen sleeve to look like, or whatever it is you're making. So we've done that. Now we're moving on to drawing out a template to actually cut out the leather. So for mine, the overall size is going to be 15 centimeters tall, which is just slightly longer than the pen, and then 10 centimeters wide, which is going to be folded over to make an overall finish width of about 5 centimeters or 50 millimeters. The back half of the sleeve is just run straight across, and then what I've done is I've just tapered the end really, or curved over one side. I mean, I've just done this freehand, but another alternative, if you don't want to draw it freehand, is just to use something like a jar lid or a plate or something, just to get a nice radius, and just curve over to the shape that you want it to be, really. So the next step is just to roughly cut it out. You're best not cutting right up to the lines here. I mean, you can do it, just gives you a bit of leeway. And then just place your leather onto, place your template onto a piece of leather about the right size. So, you know, this is a small project, so just a small piece from the scraps drawer, or you can just get some small scraps from eBay or Etsy or any of those sorts of places. And you want a really nice sharp blade to cut leather. You can either strop the blade that you've got on, you know, if you even like a craft knife, you can strop the blade to make it strong, to make it sharper, or just use a fresh blade. Stanley knife or X-Acto knife or whatever, just any sort of craft knife really. Don't press too hard, just keep your knife nice and straight and upright, go through carefully. And then cut out the curve. Again, do that carefully. If you've used something to mark your curve with, you could use that to cut around. If you've used a plate or a bowl or a jar lid or something, you can use that to guide the knife as well. Just cut it out carefully, really. Now you're just folding over carefully, trying to create a crease down the middle, but make sure that you get everything lined up really neatly and really carefully here. So this leather, I think it's about 2 millimeter thick. It's veg tan leather, veg tan shoulder. It was a piece that I bought in a Tandy sale, so it was relatively cheap. Now you don't have to glue the sides together, but I like to. I'm just making a mark where that curve comes down to, so I don't get glue on the bit that'll be exposed. And then I've got it's just some Copydex glue there. I usually use contact cement, like Barge, but unfortunately I didn't put the lid on properly last time I used it, so it's gone a bit weird. So this Copydex works really well. It doesn't smell fantastic, but it's not too bad. You want to put it across on both sides of the joints that you're making, and then you just need to leave it to go off for 5 or 10 minutes, same as you would with contact cement. Then when it's gone off a bit, you can see the white's disappeared just touch it together, fold it together really carefully, and just make sure you don't stick it in the wrong place, really. Give it a good squeeze. Work your way around slowly. Join it all up neatly. It's a nice quick project to make this. It took me probably less than an hour, including setting up all the cameras and trying to make it into a video. Just a quick test fit there for the pen and make sure it's okay, which it seems to be. Okay, and now I'm using some calipers. There's lots of ways, but really what I'm trying to do is just make a mark around 3 or 4 millimeters in from the side for my stitching. Just forgotten to round off the edges there, so I'm just going to use a very small coin. It's a 5p UK coin, but you could use any small coin or just small round object just to create a radius, just to round over the edge. And I'm just doing it on this side, with leaving the other side with the fold straight. So just curving that bottom right hand corner and then the top right hand corner as well, where there's just one thickness, just putting that small radius on it. And then back to the calipers to finish off marking the stitching line. So coming up is the trick that I was excited to share. So I found it quite difficult when I've been punching my stitching holes to make sure that all of the holes are in alignment and it looks really neat, and that it stays the same thickness as it goes into the top of the leather, that it doesn't move towards the edge, move away from the edge. So the trick that I found is, rather than having the pricking iron flat to you as you're pricking, if you hold it so that you're looking along the pricks, you can see much more easily that it's perfectly upright, and you can see much more easily that it's nice and straight and that there's no slight twist in it. And I found that for me, I'm not claiming that it's perfect stitching, but it's 1,000 times better than I've been able to manage previously. So I'm really pleased with how that's worked. Yeah, so just sight your eye down the pricking iron as you go. And then some saddle stitching. Probably the purist would say that my stitching isn't proper saddle stitching, because I don't tend to push both needles through at the same time. I do work with 2 needles, but I alternate between the 2 needles. What I've found is the key that I've found, for me at least, is just to make sure that whatever you do, that you're really consistent, that every stitch is the same. You put the same tension on the thread, you pull at the same time. As you swap I tend to, as I sort of swap the needles underneath, I'll catch the needle that I'm not stitching with my other hand and just hold it taut, and then pull tight each thread. So just trying to be really, really consistent. Always go the same way around. Make sure that the thread always goes over or under the same way exactly. And I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. If only I could stitch that fast in real life. I think this is sped up 10 times. So it's still not a massive amount of time. You do get through it quite quickly, and it's pretty therapeutic actually. Quite often I'll just sit in front of the telly and stitch whatever it is I'm working on. What I've done on this piece as well is, rather than finish off the stitches on one side or the other, I've tried to just push the needle so that it comes out between the two pieces of leather. Hopefully you'll see that as I finish off. And what that does is it just, and then I've just heated the thread with a lighter, just to melt the ends to stop them fraying. So that, yeah, it's just gives it a nice finish, really. And then that's pretty, as soon as that last couple of stitches go in and the threads just get tied off, that's pretty much it. The only finish I've used on this, I'll put some photographs of the finished item at the end of the video, but the only finishing that I've actually done on this is I've just used some neat's foot oil. It makes it slightly darker, which is fine actually. I'm quite happy with the effect. It just makes the leather slightly darker and just kind of starts off that patina. Yeah, so quite pleased really with how this has turned out. I made the pen that you can see there, I made this week, turned that on the lathe, and I just really wanted a nice little sleeve to make to go with the pen. Yeah, I think that's just about done. So yeah, all I'll do now is just cut off the threads, just leave them slightly proud, and then just heat that with a lighter just to melt the threads and just touch it on. So there should be no fraying. So yeah, trying the pen in it, that's fine. It's all finished now apart from the neat's foot oil. And there's the finished photo with the oil on. And just to show a piece of leather that hasn't had the oil, just to show the difference in colour. And that's just the equipment that I've used as I've gone through and made this video.
500 bonus points for making it through to the end. Really, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. It'd really help me out. Much appreciated. Thank you.